The morning sun shimmered on the pond at my ranch, a tranquil scene hiding the storm about to break. I'm Nathan Hayes, a widowed rancher raising my 12-year-old daughter, Emma, on land my family has held for 3 generations. That Saturday, I stepped onto my back porch, coffee in hand, expecting a calm day of tending livestock and mending fences. Instead, I found what looked like a luxury glamping retreat sprawled across my property. Tents peppered the grass, fairy lights hung between oaks, and a dozen adults in high-end outdoor gear lounged by my livestock pond like it was a private resort. My grip tightened on my mug as I realized the local HOA had turned my land into their playground. Leading the pack was Vanessa Clark, the HOA president, with flawless chestnut hair and a voice that boomed like she was keynoting a conference. She stood by the pond, guiding her group through a sunrise yoga session, rhapsodizing about the untouched, sacred energy of this pristine water. I nearly spat out my coffee. That pond wasn't a crystal oasis, it was a waste pit for my 10 cows and 5 horses, their daily bathroom for years. Vanessa's followers, oblivious, were meditating beside a glorified cattle latrine. I approached, keeping my tone civil despite their trespass. "Morning," I said, clutching my mug. "There's a mistake. This is private property, and that pond's for my livestock." Vanessa turned, her smile as slick as her designer boots. "Oh, you must be Nathan. I'm Vanessa Clark, HOA president. We're so thankful you keep this public space for the community." She swept her arm toward my pond like she'd donated it herself. Public space. The word stung. "This land's been ours for decades," I said, nodding to the pasture where my cows eyed the intruders. "The pond's not for public use." Vanessa's smile held, but her eyes narrowed. She pulled out her phone, scrolling to a supposed 1990 township survey claiming the pond was a community watershed. "Legally, you can't restrict access to natural water," she declared, as if my deed and 20 years of taxes meant nothing. Before I could argue, she was typing, broadcasting to her 600-family HOA network that she'd discovered a hidden gem for nature lovers. The nerve was jaw-dropping, but I kept my cool. Emma was likely watching from her window, and after losing her mom, she didn't need to see me unravel over nosy neighbors. But Vanessa wasn't done. By noon, her group had set up a Bluetooth speaker blaring folk tunes, a portable kitchen with a cappuccino maker, and a photographer capturing their authentic nature vibe. My ranch had become an Instagram set. Things snowballed. By Monday, Vanessa had spun her trespass into a water freedom festival on a field next to my land, close enough to make my pond the star. Food trucks, a stage, and porta potties lined the road, drawing hundreds of families, students, even local news. KZFM radio broadcast live, with callers slamming greedy landowners like me. Vanessa gave an interview on the state's top morning show, casting me as a selfish rancher hoarding water from kids. The host ate it up, musing about laws to curb water monopolies. Social media was uglier. A blogger, Jenna Lee, with 400,000 followers, wrote a viral post, "The rancher who owns the wild," painting me as a wealthy elitist denying kids clean water. Commenters branded me a land tyrant and eco-villain. Then came video testimonials from strangers claiming I'd run them off my pond, including a sobbing mom who said she'd driven hours to show her kids pure water, only to be shooed away. I'd never met these people, but their clips racked up thousands of shares. The worst hit was personal. Emma came home crying. Her friend Sophie said her parents banned her from Emma's birthday party because they didn't back water criminals. Kids called her pond thief. The hardware store cut me off. The diner I'd frequented for years was full, and Emma's school asked me to skip volunteering at the science fair, too controversial to judge baking soda volcanoes while accused of stealing nature. I was sinking, but the real blow was coming. My neighbor, Dr. Sam Reed, a vet, called me to his clinic with urgent news. 2 weeks prior, I'd asked him to test the pond water for records. His face was grave as he handed me the results. "Nathan, this water's a disaster. E. coli levels are 500 times above safe limits. Coliform bacteria, parasites, nitrotezids, a health hazard." My stomach churned. For days, I'd seen kids splash in that pond, parents snapping photos, some drinking it, all while Vanessa touted its purity. Sam urged me to shut it down, but I hesitated. After weeks of vilification, claiming the water was toxic would seem like a desperate dodge. Then Emma took matters into her own hands. Without telling me, she posted a TikTok titled POV, "Your dad's called a water hog, so you drop the truth." By our pasture, she introduced our cows Daisy, Belle, showing clips of them using the pond as their toilet. "This is their bathroom," she said, her teen sarcasm biting. "Maybe ask why no one tested it before calling my dad selfish." She ended with an eye roll and a water testing kit, mic dropping the facts. The video blew up, hitting 3 million views in hours. Commenters were shocked and amused they drank cow poop water. Scientists duet, explaining why livestock ponds are toxic for humans. The health department descended. Inspector Diane Walsh arrived in hazmat gear to test the water. As she worked, festival-goers grew nervous. Parents pulled kids from the pond. Vanessa tried to call it harassment by my allies, but Diane's press conference shut her down. "This water poses severe health risks," she announced, listing E. coli and parasites. The crowd scattered, rattled. I thought we'd won, but Vanessa had a nastier move. On Monday, her lawyer, Marcus Holt, filed a lawsuit accusing me of reckless endangerment and intentional harm, claiming I'd hidden the pond's dangers to sicken families for amusement. Security footage of me watching the festival from afar was spun as proof of malice. Vanessa played victim online, posting that I'd tricked her into endangering kids to ruin her activism. Overnight, she was the martyr again, with media buying her tale of betrayal. The lawsuit demanded $3 million for reputational harm and medical costs for festival-goers' illnesses. My insurance dropped me, my bank hinted at calling my loan, and Emma's school barred me from events. She stopped eating, asking if we'd lose the ranch. Then a memory sparked. Emma said Vanessa's voice seemed off in early videos. I recalled a consultation 3 years back with a woman named Vanessa C., who'd asked detailed questions about livestock ponds' bacterial risks, contamination timelines, legal liabilities. She'd taken notes, even requested my pond's plans, saying she wanted a ranch. It hit me. Vanessa knew my pond was a toxic waste system. Digging further, I found she'd tried to buy my ranch 3 months before her retreat through a shell company, offering a pittance contingent on environmental fixes. Her goal wasn't excess, it was to ruin me and grab my land. But why? The answer lay in a coroner's report. 3 years ago, Vanessa's daughter, Sophie, died in a car crash a mile from my ranch, skidding on gravel washed onto the road. In her grief, Vanessa blamed me, twisting a random accident into my fault. This wasn't about water, it was vengeance. The courtroom was a spectacle, packed with Vanessa's supporters and reporters. She sat composed in neutral tones, the image of righteous sorrow. My lawyer, sensing the moment, played the consultation recording. As Vanessa's voice echoed, asking about contamination and property devaluation, her face collapsed bewilderment, then dread. Judge Eleanor Grant leaned in as Vanessa's recorded self probed how pond-related illnesses could tank a ranch's value. When asked to explain, Vanessa unraveled. "It proves nothing," she yelled. "I studied contamination because ranchers like Nathan destroy lives." Her voice cracked as she revealed Sophie's death, blaming me for gravel on a road I didn't own. "I wanted him to lose everything like I lost my daughter," she screamed, admitting her plan to sicken families and bankrupt me for a memorial park. The courtroom exploded. Her lawyer's pleas couldn't stop her confession: conspiracy, fraud, endangerment. Vanessa was arrested on felony charges. Her lawsuit collapsed, and families sued her for exposing them to toxic water. Jenna Lee apologized, donating to water safety causes. Marcus Holt quit law. Vanessa got 20 months in prison and 400 hours cleaning a sewage plant, a fitting irony. Emma and I fenced the pond, adding signs, "Private livestock water. Unsafe for humans. Ask first." The ordeal taught us brutal lessons. Misinformation can shatter lives, and grief can warp justice into revenge. Vanessa's crusade wasn't about water, it was a mother's pain turned weapon against an innocent man. If you see a pristine pond, ask questions. The line between a dip and a hospital bed is razor thin.